your train engineer, Ken Stokeham, and I'm going to be taking you on a fascinating journey through the preparation of the card decks you need to play your game of Catan. Well, you coming? Before the train pulls away from the station, let me give you a little bit of advice on protecting your cards from the normal wear and tear of Catan operation. These are Catan gaming sleeves. They're plastic envelopes that go around your cards and protect them from the greasy oil from your fingers and also from the bending that happens under normal usage. For example, here are some Catan friend cards that I have. Notice that each one I've placed a plastic sleeve around. You can see the official logo in the upper right corner that shows that this is an official Catan gaming sleeve. Now these cards are protected, and if the sleeve wears out, I can simply replace it instead of trying to replace all the cards. So let's talk about some of the card decks and what they do for you in the game of Catan. To begin with, there are the traditional resource cards. Resource cards come in 5 different types. There's grain, lumber, ore, also known as stone, brick, also known as clay, and wool. All 5 of those are necessary in order to build and purchase many of the things in your game of Catan. But depending upon the expansion that you have, you may also have additional decks of cards. For example, if you're playing Cities and Knights, your commodity cards are coin, which comes from mountain, cloth, which comes from pasture, and paper, which comes from the forest. All of those are special cards. Depending upon your scenario, however, you may have some additional decks of cards which give you extra things to do in your game of Catan. For example, there are Catan Helpers and Friends. These are special ability cards that you get at the beginning of your turn or for completing special missions. When you receive these cards, they give you special powers that you can use up to 2 times in the game before you have to relinquish them. There are also other types of cards that you may be using in your game, but the Cities and Knights expansion also added progress cards. Now, progress cards are very similar to the development cards that were in the original game of Catan. Now remember, the original game of Catan had some cards called Knight cards, which gave you powers like being able to move the robber on your turn. And it also lets you win the Strongest Army award tile. But the progress cards in Cities and Knights are in 3 different decks. There's the blue, the green, and the yellow decks. And each one of those has a number of special cards which give you different powers depending upon what you choose to do with them. Just like in the original game of Catan, development cards have to be purchased. But in Cities and Knights, development cards can only be received when special things happen, such as when the right dice is rolled and the right number is shown. So that makes it a little bit harder to get progress cards. If you have the Traders and Barbarians expansion though, you can use some of those development card decks. There's the Barbarian Attack deck, there's the Barbarians and Traders deck, and there's even an entirely new deck of cards called the Baggage Train deck, which is actually giving you special powers for moving your baggage train faster so you can deliver more trade tiles and get more victory points. Also, Traders and Barbarians added the infamous Catan event cards, which replaced the dice deck. The CatanFusion system recommends that you don't use the official Catan event cards and instead choose to use the Seasons event cards, which you can find on our website at www.CatanFusion.com. So that about wraps things up with the different cards of Catan. But before our trip comes to an end, let me really briefly tell you about some very special resource cards that were recently added in the Settlers of Catan Legend of the SeaRobbers expansion. These are called Spice cards, and unlike all the other resource and commodity cards, they're randomly mixed up so you don't know what you're getting when you receive one. But if you can match 3 of them, or one of each of the 3 kinds, you can turn them in to get a full victory point, which makes it a very powerful and special resource to be receiving. In this video, we talked briefly about the different types of cards that are available in your game of Catan, and talked about how to protect them using card game sleeves. Thanks so much for joining me on this train trip to the world of Catan, and I hope you'll join me next time as I, your conductor, Ken Stokeham, takes you on yet another exciting journey into the world of CatanFusion.